Namaste. Today we'll be talking about Nepal-German relations, bilateral relations, COVID-19 pandemic, German support to Nepal, among others. So today we have with us German Ambassador to Nepal, Dr. Thomas Prinz. Excellency, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Ishwa. It's a pleasure to be here.
Excellency, how is Nepal treating you at the moment?
Oh, Nepal is very nice. It's treating me very well. But I have to say we all suffer a little bit from the COVID crisis. Now we do not get delegations coming in. We do not have travelers going out. We suffer from economic constraints and so on. And I hope this situation will be overcome soon.
Yeah, you talked about COVID pandemic. So could you please tell me something about your country's support, German support to Nepal as part of the COVID pandemic response?
Yeah, Germany has supported, as many other countries, Nepal. We are the worldwide second largest contributor to the COVAX alliance, and we have brought in about 4.1 million doses of vaccine to Nepal recently. And we are continuing our support. So in early March, I expect the delivery of surgical face masks for Nepal.
Coming March?
Early March.
Yeah, okay.
And of course, we will monitor the situation, how it's going on, how Omicron variant is going to affect Nepal, and we will respond accordingly.
Okay, so how do you see the response of the international community in the recent spread of the second wave? I mean, I think this is the third wave of pandemic.
Yeah, well, it's difficult to say in the overall situation. I think the developed countries could have done a little bit more in an early stage to help those countries in urgent need of vaccine. But at the moment, I think that we all act a little bit according to the development of the virus.
Yeah.
So nobody knows for sure how Omicron is affecting us. It seems that Omicron is not as deadly as the Delta variant. And so we have to adjust our strategies practically from week to week.
Because we just can't predict the future. So
we can't predict the future. We do not know if a new variant is coming up, which might be aggressive again.
Exactly.
So we have to decide from week to week practically.
So what are the post-COVID future prospects of Nepal-German relations and cooperation? How can both countries develop a long-term partnership?
We have a long-term partnership since establishment of our diplomatic relations in 1962, the beginning of our development cooperation in 1966. We have long history of good and friendly relations, and I hope that we will, after COVID, we can come back to this long history of good relations and can build on that. So I expect German tourists coming back to Nepal.
Exactly.
And I hope that our trade relations will come back to what they have been to before COVID-19. So I'm quite optimistic that after COVID-19 we will see good development of bilateral relations.
So that includes tourism as well.
Yeah, definitely. We get in the German embassy practically every week. We get mails from people who ask us, "Can we come? We would like to come," and so on. Are the borders open? How's the pandemic situation? And also from German Bundestag, from the parliament, I see politicians who would like to come to visit Nepal. So basically, I'm extremely optimistic that tourists will come back because Nepal has something to offer no other country in the world has to offer. It's the Himalayas,
Excellency.
the climbing experience, your wonderful nature and your cultures, your ethnic minorities, and all that makes Nepal unique.
So as an ambassador, what plans do you have to work, to do in Nepal to, further strengthen the relations?
Oh, well, I try to support all those who are active here from the German side. We have numerous NGOs supporting NGOs here in Nepal, initiatives privately funded from Germany in the medical sector, in the educational sector, and so I try to support that. Of course, I also try to continue with our official development cooperation. Okay. And so what we have to look at is Nepal is graduating from least developed country to middle income country, and Germany and the European Union, we want to support that process. With this graduation, there are some changes connected with, so for instance, market access for the EU. And so the Nepalese government has to introduce some measures, and we are trying to help the government to implement these international obligations.
So, like, how do you analyze the recent political developments here in Nepal? Because, like, we are having local level polls on May 8th. So, sorry, May 18th. So, how do you expect that to happen?
I do not want to interfere in internal issues here, but all in all, I see the development of the Nepal society and politics quite positive. So when you look back over the decades, and you have a grown and growing consciousness of the population for democracy, for human rights, for participation, for inclusiveness, and so on. And we can see that in many ways and in many aspects. So I think Nepal is on a good track.
So you talked about like civil society, NGOs, and the private, and working with the private sectors. So you know, like, what areas can the civil society or the NGOs work again after post-COVID?
Well, there is still a number of areas where Nepal needs some support, like education or healthcare. What's politically also important is that we help Nepal to make the 2015 constitution functioning properly. That means also the local bodies have to function properly, and that is also part of our official development cooperation with Nepal.
Let's talk about education as well. So do you see any opportunities for collaboration in the higher education and skill-based areas?
Definitely there is cooperation. First of all, we offer university places for Nepalese students in Germany. And we have about 500 students per year going to Germany. They don't have to pay student fees. So the universities in Germany are free. So they don't have to pay only for their personal cost of living, but the university doesn't charge them money. They only need very little knowledge of German language, because all the master courses are taught in English language. So this is what we are continuing to offer for Nepali students. Then for those who don't want to leave the country, we also offer possibilities to get training here. We have a training program for vocational and technical training here in Nepal. And I think this is extremely important, because when all those who know a little bit about Germany, they know that in Germany a big part of our youngsters don't go to university. They do 3 years technical and vocational training. And this is the human backbone of our industrial success. And some lessons learned of these programs we bring to Nepal and try to implement them here.
That means, like, the students, the Nepalese students, those who are wanting to go to Germany for higher studies, they need to have some basic knowledge or basic language, like knowledge of a German language.
Well, at university they follow an English speaking program, but somehow they have to survive. Not every German speaks English, and when you go to a shop and you buy your food and so on, you should know a little bit of German. We have the Goethe Center, Kathmandu here, which is offering language courses.
Yeah.
And so it's accessible for everybody to do some basic language training before they leave to Germany.
Okay, so do you have any plans to send Nepalese people to Germany as laborers or workers or skilled workers, semi-skilled workers?
No, there is no government plan for immigration from Nepal. We see there is some immigration going on to Europe, and definitely in the long term, Europe needs immigrants because our workforce is shrinking. So in the long term, there might be some chances, but at the moment, I do not see possibilities for workforce immigration to Germany. We are still coping with the influx of more than 1 million of refugees in 2015. We have to digest that. We have to integrate them. And so at the moment, I do not see a big volume of Nepalese workers coming to Germany. And in the end, I'm of the opinion that we have to create possibilities for young Nepalese here in Nepal. It's better than being forced to leave the country.
So what suggestion do you have to our Nepalese youth?
Well, studying, learning, education, that's it. That is what I would not only say here in Nepal, that is what I've taught my children at home and what I tell everybody, because in future all our societies will become more and more knowledge-based societies. And we're growing together on a global market. And what you learn today is old knowledge from tomorrow. You have to keep on learning, studying, and that is, I think, the basis for everything. If a young person now works on his future, it's learn how to learn.
So could you please share something of your experience during a stay in Nepal? It's been quite short time. Even though,
it has been a short time. I arrived in September, but I've been traveling a lot because as we didn't have much incoming guests and delegations, so I had time to travel. I've been, of course, in the Kathmandu Valley. I've been to Upper Mustang, Lomantang. Every weekend I do 1 or 2 trips with my mountain bike, going around here.
In Kathmandu.
Not only Kathmandu, I'm also jumping over the first chain of mountains and looking around. So I have some experience traveling here, and I have to say it's a great experience. Very friendly.
So how was your trip to Mustang, Upper Mustang?
Oh, that was an adventure for me and also for my wife. We enjoyed it tremendously, and it's a unique landscape, wonderful, and the road up there is also a big adventure.
So I think your impression is quite good?
I have a very good impression, and I have to say I wanted to come to Nepal, always wanted to come to Nepal, and long before I came here, I already was in touch with my predecessor, and we exchanged some experience, and so he also convinced me, come to Nepal, it's a wonderful experience.
Thank you so much for your time, Excellency.
It's a pleasure, thank you.
It's quite a very short interview. Thank you.
Okay.